we've got this house with a granny flat. Affordability is not in place, and now we are looking at future or rental income. Now, today's, training, because although it feels like a very, very common easy aspect to understand, there's a lot of criteria from 4 different banks, and we thought it well to actually do a presentation on rental income. Now, what is our desired result from this training is that you understand the difference between existing and future rental income. It is a privilege to have future rental income being added to boost affordability, because just like just a few months ago, I'm talking about 8 months ago, no bank wanted to do future rental income. But good competition, that is why we always have to have a good relationship with all the banks. One bank started using future rental income. Now all the banks are using future rental income. And that is why you need competitors and you need competition. Because in the end of the day, it's only me and you that is actually benefiting from it, okay? And then a better understanding on the bank's criteria. So although everybody is looking at that, everybody has got different criteria and different rules. And they also require documents to prove rental income. When will the bank not consider the rental income? This is important for you, because you've got that buyer in front of you, and now you tell the buyer, don't worry, we're going to use the rental income on this granny flat, and affordability will be in place, and then we don't get a grant. And I'm going to explain to you why. And how we, so the thing is, there's always a solution. And we hope that when you're finished with this session, you will understand the value of using an originator, so that we can actually structure and use the rental income as a solution to get your loans through. And that is also the solution to address the criteria. There's always a solution, okay? But you have to have the knowledge to put and structure this application together. Okay, so worth to know is that the bank may consider existing and future rental income as part of the home loan application. And it is because the bank would actually like a customer, a property-owned investor, to actually grow his portfolio sooner. Okay, because in South Africa it's a desire that everybody's got to have a home, but everybody must stay somewhere, And if you are an investment portfolio, it is a valuable product for the bank, and therefore, they will look at that. So, what is existing rental income? So I've made notes, but I've got so much passion, and this is just for me to make sure that I actually mention everything. But existing rental income is this customer who already has got a portfolio. And he's got a main residence where he and his family is living, and he's got a second and a third property, and he's renting that properties out. He already has these agreements in place, and the rental income is already being paid into the bank statements. What is the bank required is that the bank will ask the originator to do a rental schedule, where we normally say, where is the property bonded? What is the outstanding home loan bond? What is the monthly installment? And what is the rental income? What is the expenses? And how long is this contract? So normally, what the bank wants to see, the bank, according to the National Credit Act, has to prove that the tenant is a good tenant. And that the tenant, and then after you prove that the tenant is a good tenant, he has to prove that that tenant has the intention to stay in this property for at least 6 months after the property or the home loan has been granted. Now, how do we do that? That's why we have to have 6 months bank statements. We have to highlight where the rental income is showing. And the bank actually look, if you have a buyer and his tenant skipped 1 month in paying the rent, it's a high risk for the bank, and the bank will not use that rental income. And the bank also check, where is this rent being paid in? Is the rent being paid in every month, more or less, between the 1st and the 7th? In other words, or is there late payments, where this month is paying on the 1st, and the next month the owner has to wait, and the rental income is only coming in on the 20th, and is the full rental amount being paid, only partial of the rent being paid? So, where we normally have a problem is when you've got a tenant that 1 month during the 6 months of record paid, for instance, half of the rent and the other half later in the month. For the bank, that is a high risk. And then it will actually cause that the bank will not use the rent at all. So say, for instance, we've got a good tenant, then the bank would like a lease agreement just to prove that this tenant actually has an agreement for the next 6 months, or at least we can motivate, but not less than 3 months when the application is being actually attended to. Because now the bank did prove with the bank statements that it's a good tenant that you've got, but now you need to prove that that tenant has the intention to stay in the property for at least a time. So therefore, if you are a rental agent, these contracts that you get, and after the first year it becomes a month-to-month rental agreement. It's not a good idea, especially if that your client, your owner, property owner, want to use that income in the future to purchase another property. As soon as it becomes a month-to-month, it's a higher risk for the bank. The bank wants a contract showing that there's at least still extended time. So I hope that this makes sense to you. Okay. So this was the easy part. If we would look at, so the banks have a different criteria when it comes to existing rental income. A bank like Absa will only use 80% of the rental income. Standard Bank will consider and use the full rental income amount. Nedbank only use 60% of the rental income. And FNB, when the gross rental income is in excess of 40% of the salary, they will not use, then there's different applicables, and this is very important. Then they will reduce the loan term only to 120 months, and they will insist on a 25% deposit. So this is where your customer, so you can look how easy do you get. Look, this is before any salary deductions. How quickly you get to an amount where the total rental, I've got actually customers whose total rental income is more than their salaries. I've got clients I've already helped them with 25 properties being bought. Every time I do a home loan, it is a massive situation because of all the lease agreements that needs to be attached.
Sorry to bother. I'm looking for the owner of a Honda CRV KM57SD. There was a small accident. Old lady is sitting outside. She scratched it. She wants to see.
If you look at these criteria when it comes to rental income, the conclusion is that your application or your purchase is actually in danger when your customer is saying, I'm going to go to my bank directly. Because of your client is falling, and you know what, most customers, we found, and it is common knowledge, that the bank with the most, apart from Capitec, with the highest clientele in terms of check accounts and saving accounts, so most of our customers, especially in Centurion, is FNB customers. Now, can you think of, you've got that criteria and the customer go directly to the bank and the application is declined? The negative thing about that is that the banker do not know how to communicate and say this is our criteria. So they actually say, stay away from purchasing the property. You cannot afford it. There's something wrong with the property. And then your application actually died. And I must be honest with you, I'm getting it quite often, where the banker, where it is declined because of reasons like that, instead of explaining that it is only their criteria, but another bank, never in my life have I seen that FNB is actually referring their customers to ABSA or to Nedbank to go and apply for the loan because of their criteria. So that is why it's important. So that you try, so your client is applying from the beginning with all four the major banks, especially when it comes to, if you know that rental income is applicable. Because you can look at the different criteria, and you know, so many of these customers got more than one property, and you know, the terms of those loans, I mean, reducing the loan term to half of what it can be, I mean, it is actually, the monthly installment is doubled. Can you understand? And it do have an implication on your client's success on the application or not. Okay, so now the very important, what did I have here? Goodness. I don't ask for this, but anyway, future rental income. Sometimes you're so fancy doing things you don't know what is the setting, and then you surprise yourself. You know? So this is done by my, this presentation. But anyway, serves as future rental income. It serves as an income booster, and the bank will look at it. And we are very, very successful with future rental income. So what is this? This is where your customer must have already one property in his name. Okay, he must be the owner of the property. That property must be showing at the deeds office that he's the owner of it. Sometimes we do get a customer that says he's inheriting this house from his parents, but I mean, if you go to the deeds office, that house is not in his name legally as yet. So the bank want to see that you are an owner of a house. And now you are buying another property, and that rental income is going to boost your, we're going to use it. It's not showing in your bank accounts as yet. There's no lease agreement as yet, but we're going to use that to confirm affordability and get a successful outcome on your loan. Now the bank will actually use up to 90% of the rental income, which is good, very, very good. But what I want to tell you is there's now a criteria, and that's the difficult thing. So, Franco, if you've got a customer who's living in a simplex now, and now they want to buy a residential freeholding house, and they want to say that they want to rent out the simplex, and this is going to become their main residence. The problem with that is the bank do not want to use the future rental income of a property that is not in their books. So now we have to look, a bank like ABSA, for instance, because the bank is saying we giving them letters, and we ask them specific questions from you, the agent. How many bedrooms is the property that he is staying in at the moment, his current main residence? and we give a forecast and we get a letter from you, what is the expected rental income? But the bank would say, no, I want to control it. The future rental income is actually applicable on the property being bought now. So it's for investors, but you understand where is the problem. So therefore, it is important that we have to guide the customer. We have to explain to the customer, this is how the bank is going to look at it. If you get to the attorneys, otherwise they're not going to use the income. So we actually advise you to rent the property out for 6 months after registration, still 6 months, that's what we have to do, explain to the customer. Put this as future rental income, this main residence that you want to buy now, use that as the future rental income, and then after registration, then you can move in and change it, okay? Because it's just that fact, otherwise again, you eliminate the fact that the bank is going to use that rental income. But that is one bank. But now you must understand, it's not impossible. We can get the loan through. But now we have to look, where is this existing property? And this existing property is only bonded with one bank. Now you've actually taken 3 other banks or 4 other banks, if you take Sentinel and Investec in consideration, out of the play game. Because the bank who's actually got the current bonds, only that bank will use the rental income of that specific property. Okay, so therefore you need an originator to help you to structure this fee correctly. Another thing of future rental income, very dangerous. You buy this house and there's a granny flat. And you say, but I can get 7,000 Rand per month of this granny flat. The bank don't like it. The bank don't take the rental income of the granny flat in consideration. We have to fight for it, but it's not obvious that they are going to do it. They will only take the rental income of the main residence. So unless we prove that your client is buying the property, it's the intention they are going to live in the granny flat and they're going to rent out the main residence, because they only take future rental income on the main residence of the property. Why? Because a granny flat is a granny flat. A granny flat, the market of the rental market is actually rapidly being reduced. Not everybody wants to stay on the same yard as somebody else. There is the trap that you might rent it out, because you also don't want to live on the same yard as people that you do not know. So you might fall in a trap renting it out to a family member, but the family member stays family. It's very difficult for you to take legal actions against them if they do not pay. And therefore it's a high risk for the bank. And therefore, to confirm and prove that is, what we normally, and I did get it through once, but then we need your help as an agent. Because the only way we can use the income of a granny flat is that your seller must give us the current lease agreement that he is renting the property out. Your seller must give us his 6 months bank statements, because I need to prove that that tenant that is in there is paying a good, monthly his rent. And I need a letter from your tenant saying that it is his intention that as soon as the property is being bought, he is got a willingness that he will sign the new lease agreement with the new owner. So it is possible to use the rental income of a granny flat, but this is the extra fees. And it's very difficult for us to get that information. So if you are the one holding the information or the relationship with the seller, we've got a very good relationship with the buyer. So if we ask you for assistance and you understand, so what I recommend, if you have a property with a rental flat, with a flat, and he wants to sell it with the tenant, prepare your seller for these documents that we need to provide to the bank to prove affordability. Unless you've got a customer who do not need to rely on this future rental income to get his loan through. Of course, if he can afford it without relying, but then we don't take, then there's no future rental income at play or to boost the application. Okay, so I hope that this is very, informative. It makes the dance. I was in a happy dance when I did this presentation. It would look for me. Okay, so the information required, I actually did mention some of these for you already. So what the bank normally do is they ask me or Annette or Steady or Yolandi, get from the agent. So this is now, if you buy a property, you are selling the property that's going to be rented out. You are selling the investment property. Okay. Then we will ask you how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, garages. I was very successful, and what we can do is we can give you an example of a letter that the agents prepare for us. From your opinion as an area specialist of what and why do you motivate this is the expected rental income. And we have to complete a form like that for the bank. I've got a proposed example for you of a letter that is very, very good, and worked in the past. And then we can ask you to support our report with a letter like that. So normally what the bank wants to look at, because the bank is not just going to take what we are saying. The bank is going to do a market search on that area, and they look what is the potential, what is the location, what is the appetite for tenants to rent in that area, and what is the expected or the appetite, or what is the average rent being received on properties in that area. So they want to know the specifications. Okay. So I've also, referred to the TPN rental report, and then if there's an existing tenant, I did mention that to you, where they would like then the lease agreement and the 6 months bank statements of the seller. Goodness. Okay, and that is it. So, in the end of the day, there's always hope and there's always solutions. And the thing is, you need to have the experience when you send the application to know more or less how the bank is going to look at it, so that you can be prepared and make sure that from the beginning you are prepared for the loopholes using rental income or future rental income, so that you can ensure the success of the transaction. One thing that is extremely important is actually when you've got this investor that is got so much rental income already, the problem becomes where the bank is saying that the percentage of rental income is so high that it actually becomes a risk. But now I'm talking about a customer who's already got like 13, 14 properties being rented out. Okay, so there is very, very, very good good market in it. I see some of my very successful property owners, actually invest in this as a future pension contribution. And I've got customers actually aiming it to get 300,000 rental income per month to make provision, and they are well on their way, and they are buying the right things. Okay, on the rental income, a big problem, a big problem is, and I'm now talking here about people buying a house and they rent out the rooms. the bank do not like multi-tenants. Please, if that is the situation, the solution is you have to register that property into a business name, and you have to have that business open for 2 years, and you have to prepare business financials, and we use the income of as a business. Because the thing of multi-tenants, I don't know if you are aware, there's now a situation here in the Pretoria area, Casino, where a total block of flats was taken over. And one tenant told the others, don't pay your rent. And in the end of the day, that entire block of flats, nobody paid the rent. Now, I mean, that is already a difficult situation when it's different families and different households and you have to knock on somebody's door. It costs that owner so much to put everybody out. And it's apart from the extensive legal actions and how much it costs. So do you know, it can cost you between 45 and 60,000 rand to put one household out. So what is the risk for the bank? You've got one house and you've got 7 tenants in that same house. You have to take all 7 of them. If all of them decide not to pay, you have to take legal action, and your cost can be 60 times 7, because you have to do legal action against each and every individual. That is the risk, and that is why the bank is not looking at that at all. Because unless it is student accommodation, but I've done that. Let me tell you, the bank is actually want to know how far is that property from the main gate of the university. They look at where the situation is. It cannot be a flat that is a kilometer even from the university. You know, so they look at communities as close as possible. And therefore, those people are actually using business financials. Because your rental income is your income, subtracting the expenses. Right. My students, any questions from your side? I hope this was informative.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I've got a situation now where I've sold the house. They're staying in a townhouse, sold the house. No, they're not selling the house. They want to rent it out. They bought the new property, and now they're using the house they're currently living in as a future rental for qualifying with the bank. FNB came back, said they're going to have to have a rental income contract
Yeah.
of 12,000.
Yeah.
Please.
So, FNB will use the future rental income, but on the condition of your attorneys. They are not going to allow your bond to register.
That's good. Yeah, they said so. Yeah.
They are not going to allow your bond to register before the attorneys, is part of the conditions for the attorneys to actually submit them or provide them with a lease agreement. And the reason why they're asking for a specific amount is because when they went and they applied for this loan, they said that that is the expected rental income. And all the affordability cost was done on that expected rental income. So agent, take note of this. You can have a grant if you give estimate of the possible rental income. Your information that you are telling your buyer can actually cause your transaction to die when it's with the attorneys. Because if your client cannot provide a lease agreement with at least that rental income, your transaction is not going to register.
Now they get a tenant for that amount or even more. But obviously it's a new tenant. They don't have the guarantee of 6 months bank statements or whatever that tenant is actually have been paying.
Yeah.
What?
But you don't have to worry because that is not the criteria. It's a future rental income, so
Okay.
they don't need to prove.
Okay.
So
That was
the only thing that the bank wants, this is future rental income,
Yes,
okay? It falls under that category. The only requirement is condition with the attorneys is this bond cannot register before I've got a lease agreement of at least this amount. Then so that they don't need to be proof
Okay.
of because the property is not going to run away.
No.
Okay, the property is not going to run away. The bank actually just want to make sure that on date of registration there's already a tenant in.
Yes.
Okay, so because on that, remember, future rental income is boosting your income. Sometimes a bond cannot work without the future rental income. And that is why FNB is asking for it. It's only FNB, not the other banks.
No. The other banks actually turned them all down.
Yeah.
FNB is the only one that could
Because,
get a grant.
because why did they turn them down? Because they didn't use the full 100% rental income. They used whatever the calculator is.
But-
So can you see why it's important, you guys? If you've got a buyer and he's going to rely on rental income, I'm telling you, you have to make sure that we have to apply with all 4 banks.
But it's very weird that FNB actually came back with it and the others not. Because if I looked at your criteria, it would have been actually APSA that would have accepted it.
You know what? It all depends on the customer itself, okay? If it was a very good FNB customer, but then also, you must remember, the bank is also looking where is the property bonded at the moment. And you know, if that you cannot say, I've invested in the wrong type of property. You know, you want your seller to be able to sell the property. Especially, not in all cases, but you know, especially in cases where the seller has financial problems and they start to be not paying their home loans. I'm not saying this is the situation, but I want you to understand everything the bank, you know, not one of us, Scott, the same, although we're all agents, although we all work on commission, not one of us has got the same portfolio, when it comes to the bank with an application. So what can happen, the circumstances, is that the bank also want to be able for the seller to release the property. I'm not saying it's a situation, but especially if he's, starting to get into financial difficulty. So it's better to bend your criteria for a better prospect than one that you know is not going to be able to meet the monthly installments. So that is more or less the situation. But again, you have to go to everybody.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you, Bree.
Thank you. That was
Just the last, regarding the flips, Anne-Marie, you've asked, I quickly did some calculations for you. You were so kind to give me some information, so she quickly Googled. But anyway, I've worked out, Anne-Marie, to be able to qualify your 30% repayments towards income is not, you can only qualify for a property of 660,000. And what is the, okay. And the thing is, your income is maximum income in the household is 22,000. And it's for customers between income of 3,500 and your contribution can be up to 150,000. But the one that is earning 22,000 is getting like 5,000 from the government. The lesser, the customer is earning 3,500 per month, and the criteria is you have to have children. You have to have, and we will send you the website. But you must have dependents. Okay. So, okay, questions. Are you guaranteed that the bank will use the rental income of a granny flat? No. Wanneer is eeretjie? Sy het sommer geantwoord voordat ek Spot die rental agent. Okay, another question. Help my.
Dis baie gesê hulle wou dan.
true or false? Ja, so jy kan net reg of verkeerd wees. The bank always used future rental income. She was,
Where you go?
when she heard it was true or false, she already put her hand up. That's right, my security is